Shaunie O'Neill has finally broken her silence. And what she revealed about Pastor Keion shocked everyone. Behind the polished sermons, the big church stages, and the picture-perfect image, there were secrets no one ever imagined would come to light. In a raw and emotional breakdown, Shaunie pulled back the curtain and left fans questioning everything they thought they knew about faith, love, and leadership in the pulpit. What she exposed could change the way people see both of them forever. If you've been following the headlines, you already know Shaunie O'Neill has been making waves, not just for her high-profile life after Basketball Wives, but for her marriage to Pastor Keion Henderson, one of the most talked-about pastors of this generation. From Houston to Hollywood, their union was praised as the ultimate power couple moment, the merging of faith, fame, and influence. But as the saying goes, not everything that glitters is gold. Behind closed doors, tensions were building. Shaunie's recent confession peeled back layers many never expected her to speak on publicly. At first, everything appeared perfect. Their wedding pictures spread across social media like wildfire. The glamorous setting in Anguilla, the star-studded guest list, the emotional vows, it was the stuff of fairy tales. A reality TV star turned faith-driven first lady standing alongside one of the fastest-growing pastors in America. But picture-perfect moments often hide realities people don't want to talk about. Behind the glowing smiles and polished Instagram posts, whispers were already circulating. Church members noticed a shift, with more celebrity influence creeping into the pulpit. Some began asking if the marriage was about love or building a brand. Shaunie admitted in subtle interviews that being a pastor's wife wasn't what she expected. It wasn't just showing up to church and supporting her husband, it was stepping into a world of scrutiny, expectations, and spiritual politics. While the public saw luxury vacations and polished speeches, the private reality was far more complicated. Small cracks soon began to show, cracks that eventually led to her emotional breakdown. From the outside, Shaunie's new life seemed glowing. Fans praised her for leaving behind the drama of reality TV for the grace of the pulpit. But what many didn't realize is that being married to a pastor is a pressure cooker of expectations, criticism, and sacrifice. Almost immediately after the wedding, Shaunie was thrust into the role of First Lady of Lighthouse Church. With that came responsibilities she never signed up for, attending women's conferences, mentoring younger women, speaking at church events, all while juggling her career, motherhood, and personal identity. Friends said she often felt forced into a spotlight she hadn't asked for. The pressure didn't just come from inside the church. Social media added gasoline to the fire. Every outfit she wore, every word she spoke, every facial expression during sermons was dissected online. Some praised her glow, while others accused her of being more of a celebrity prop for Pastor Keion than a spiritual partner. Shaunie wasn't blind to it. Those close to her say she struggled deeply with the perception that she was being judged not just as a wife, but as a woman of faith. It began to feel like no matter what she did, it wasn't enough. The deeper Shaunie got into the inner workings of ministry, the more unsettled she became. Sitting in the pews, the church looked polished and powerful. But behind the curtain, she found something else entirely. Meetings weren't just about scripture or community, they were about revenue, optics, and influence. Insiders say Shaunie confided to friends that she felt like she had stepped into a corporation more than a church. Even more disturbing, she saw how different Keion could be on stage versus at home. On stage he was warm, charismatic, and endlessly patient. Off stage, the tone could be stricter, more controlling, and deeply focused on protecting his image. For Shaunie, who had already lived a life under scrutiny in reality TV, this duality felt eerily familiar. She wasn't just a wife anymore, she had become part of a brand. It didn't stop there. Whispers suggested Shaunie noticed questionable alliances within the gospel industry and beyond, connections that looked more like strategic networking than ministry partnerships. The most chilling part, according to those close to her, was that she stumbled upon information about money, loyalty, and maybe even secrets she has yet to reveal, that shook her faith in both her marriage and the ministry. That was when the breaking point came. Shaunie, who had always been strong and composed, reached a place where she couldn't keep pretending. It started subtly, pulling back from events, distancing herself from church decisions, and limiting her presence online. Fans began noticing and asking, "Where's Shaunie?" Or "Why doesn't she look happy anymore?" Her silence spoke volumes. Behind the scenes, insiders claimed she confronted Pastor Keion about what she had seen. The conversations reportedly turned into tense arguments where she felt unheard and isolated. This wasn't just about disagreements in marriage, it was about morality, about spiritual integrity. Shaunie began asking herself hard questions. If the man she married wasn't the same man behind the pulpit, then what did that mean for everything they had built together? The turning point, according to whispers, came during an emotional moment where she admitted she could no longer carry the weight of pretending everything was fine. She confided in a close friend that she couldn't stay silent any longer. From that point, the mask slipped. She was no longer just the polished first lady. She was a woman hurt, disillusioned, and standing at a crossroads. As Shaunie quietly distanced herself, speculation grew. Every cryptic post, every public appearance where she looked less than joyful, fueled rumors. Bloggers, fans, and even insiders began piecing together a story that Pastor Keion may have desperately wanted to keep under wraps. The irony was, the more Shaunie pulled back, the more power she gained. She held the keys to secrets that could damage not just her marriage but an entire ministry structure. Now the question on everyone's mind is simple. Will she speak out fully, and if she does, how much damage could it cause? Her silence breaking has already sent shockwaves through both the faith and entertainment communities. What once looked like a fairy tale love story between a high-profile first lady and a pastor is now unraveling publicly, leaving more questions than answers. At the core of this isn't just gossip, it's about accountability, authenticity, and the courage to speak truth when the cost is high. Shaunie's decision forces people to ask what really happens behind the pulpit, and how many more untold stories are waiting to be revealed. This isn't just about one couple, it's about the broader conversation happening nationwide. Can modern churches withstand this kind of scrutiny? And will leaders finally be held accountable for what happens when the cameras are off? Shaunie O'Neill has shown that image can only cover pain for so long. Her story is proof that even in the most powerful circles, truth has a way of breaking through.